Welcome ladies and gents to Raiden's Mortars for Dummies. This is going to be a super simple guide to using mortars and ARMA REFORGER without having to do any kind of calculations. So we're in Game Master, so I'll show you guys how to set this up in case you haven't used Game Master before, just so you can practice without being in a public server and getting banned for mass team killing. So, alright. So we are here. This is completely vanilla other than this being a modded map, which is my own. First thing we want to do is go down here to the entity browser, open that up. I've already got compositions checked, but you'll see this just like this. Go select the filter, composition, M252 mortar emplacement, which is the US mortar. Drop that bad boy down. And if you're on console, you can just turn on your control hints if there's anything that doesn't correlate, because I'm not on console, I'm on PC. Okay, so now we want to right click anywhere and go create player. Anyone, doesn't really matter, squad leader will do. And we can either go up the top left and play as character, or you can right click on the character and go play. Alright, now we're in here with our mortar and our mortar arsenal with the shells over here. Okay, so the first thing we are going to want to know is where we are. If I quickly go back into Game Master, just to show you, you should know where you are in the game. If you're at a base, then you're going to know where you are. We are on my custom terrain. This is a custom training facility that I've set up for my unit, SHS. We have a ARMA and a REFORGER branch, the 1st and 2nd Air Assault Brigades. This is our custom training facility. This is Karakitang Island, which is an Indonesian island. It's a fairly accurate representation of it. And then our kind of HQ training facility is just a fictional kind of man-made island that I've added in. Okay, so we know where we are. We're at our HQ, at our training facility, on this patch of dirt, kind of parallel with this hump in the grass. So if we are in the ground, okay, so we know where we are. If we look on the map, my map is still in alpha state. I just released it early, so our unit could train on the island, but as you can see here, it doesn't show any landmass, but we know we're on the land. Near the end of the driver training course, we're and kind of in line with this hump. You can see the contour line there. We are about here. So you want to first up mark your position, and you want it to be as accurate as possible, and you want to zoom in as far as you can, because you'll see in a second how inaccurate it is if you mark positions zoomed out. So we'll just put a dot for our position, make it blue for blue 4, POS, pause. Alrighty, so we know where we are. We've got our position. Next thing we need is something to shoot at. Somewhere to put warheads on foreheads. So we're going to shoot at this village here. You can see my map doesn't have any village names or anything yet, but we're going to put a marker here. Doesn't matter which. The X is a good one. Make it red so we know it's a target. And we're going to put TRP, target reference point, alpha. Okay, so that's target reference point alpha. Now we want to come back to our position, go to the top left here, pull out our protractor, map tool thingamajig, use these yellow crosshairs that you can see on your cursor to line up to the center of the protractor, grab that bad boy, zoom right in, make sure you're accurate, grab that bad boy, drop it directly over your position, so it's right in the middle. And you can see there as you zoom out how inaccurate it becomes if you're zoomed out. That's why you want to be zoomed most of the way in. Okay, so the next thing we need to know is the azimuth to our target. So we're going to get our pen tool or pencil, zoom right in, click on our position, zoom back out, drag it to TRP alpha, to our target point. You can go through it a bit to make it slightly more accurate, doesn't matter. Just need it to line up with the target reference point. Okay, so it's now lined up with TRP alpha, and then you want to come on, disable the pen tool, come on to the protractor and this inner ring is, you can see here, it goes all the way around to 360, is your degrees. So your azimuth. So if that's 30, 31, 32, 33. So our azimuth to target from our position is 33 degrees. 33 degrees. Okay, now you can either have a notepad on you, or you can do this, which is probably easier. Right click on an empty place on the map, put a marker, doesn't matter which one. A dot's nice and tidy and shouldn't be mistaken for anything else. And we can go 33 degrees. Just so we don't forget, 33 degrees. Now, next we need to know the distance from our position to the target. So we can use our azimuth line and use the ruler on the protractor. On PC, if you middle mouse click, you can rotate, and then double mouse clicking will align it to the compass again. So middle mouse, rotate it, zoom right in, get it lined up straight on your azimuth line. Well, it's fairly straight. Zoom right in, put the end of the ruler right on your position, and then you can see that the target is further away than 1 kilometer, which this is 1 kilometer, 1,000 meters. So I think there is a way to make the protractor bigger, but it doesn't really matter. You don't need to. You can just do this. So quickly place a line there as a helper marker reference point, and then turn the pencil back off. And now, so we've got 1 kilometer. If we move this, line it up with our helper marker. And then where does it get to? Okay, so we've got 1,000, so 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer, then 500, and 10, 20, 30. So just for simplicity, actually we'll say 20. Okay, so we've got 1,500, and just for simplicity, 20 meters. 1,520 meters. So we can use another marker. Oops, keep it white. 1,520 meters. Okay, so azimuth to target is 33 degrees, distance is 1,520 meters. So that's that part. So this time around we're going to do it with the ballistic information on screen. I imagine most vanilla servers will have it this way. You can see that the range converted to mils on the right hand side there, and the type of explosive it is, whether it's 4 rings, 3 rings, 2 rings, or 1 ring. As far as I can tell, we only have 4 rings for the HE at the moment anyway. I wasn't able to change it. Maybe mine's bugged or I'm dumb, but it's the same kind of thing anyway, either way. If you do by any chance work out how to change the rings, which I haven't, you can press your fire mode change to change the number of rings. So you can see up the top is your azimuth in mils and degrees. We were looking at degrees and we were 33 degrees. So you can use the mouse, but it's easier to use your arrow keys. 33 degrees. And then we were at 1,520 meters was our range. So you can use your up and down keys. And since we have the ballistic information showed on screen, you can just look at the right hand side and keep going up until you see you get to 1,500. Now this is the part where no maths comes into play. Normally you would use the range card and do a calculation between those two ranges to get your 20, so 1,520. You can see it's only marked in 100 meter increments. Normally you would do some maths to get that number precise, but with 42 meter dispersion, it's not going to be super accurate anyway. So you can get really close without doing any maths just to get you started. You can do it this way. This is super easy. So 1,520. So what I would do is go click down till it goes to click up till it goes to 1,400. Okay, so now click to 1,000, click down again, goes to 1,500 meters. Now you know you've got a few more clicks between 1500 and 1600, so I would just go 1, 2, press the key twice and call that good. Now I know that's not super accurate, but as you're going to see, these are going to land on target anyway. Okay, so we now have our 33 degrees, our 1520 meters, give or take a few meters. We'll go and grab a shell, fire in the hole, grab another one, we'll do 3 just so you can see the dispersion. Now I'm going to go into Game Master so we can see these land. One thing I probably should have mentioned is that the first thing you're going to want is a forward observer, otherwise you're probably going to do more harm than good. You're not going to know if there's friendlies on the target or what. So we're going to use Game Master as our forward observer, and they can also bracket your mortars for you and tell you whether they were on target or not. And look at that, smack bang on the TRP. Just like that, super easy. So you can see with this information displayed on the side how you can easily kind of guesstimate between the 100 meter increments. And if you've got a forward observer, they can tell you, oh no, that was 30 meters short or whatever, and you can just add a little bit more. You don't really need to do maths, although I like to use maths and do things accurately, especially in my unit. This is just for you to get started with mortars and have some fun with them and be reasonably accurate. Okay, so now we're going to go on and we're going to do the same thing again, except we'll do it without the ballistic information on screen. It's the exact same procedure, so I won't waste your time and walk you through it again. We'll set up this next village here as a target, and I'll just skip ahead to once I've got it marked out, because it's the same procedure. It doesn't really change. It doesn't change at all. Okay, so now we have TRP Bravo all marked out, and it is 11 degrees from our position and 1970 meters. So since we don't have the ballistic information on screen on the mortar site anymore, we want to go into the mortar arsenal, grab this thing here, the ranging card. For ease of use, we'll chuck it in our quick slot, pull that bad boy out, and you can inspect it the same way you inspect your weapon, holding R, and you can see there's next shell type or next page. We're just using the 4-ring HE. There's obviously smoke shells, and you would just use the appropriate page for the type of shell you're using. And you can see there's 3 rings, 1 ring, etc. But like I said, we only have 4 rings as far as I can tell. Okay, so we said 1000. You can see on the left hand side the range, different ranges, and I think we said 1970. Once again, you can see it only goes up in 100 meter increments from 1900 to 2000 meters. So there's more to this if your target's like at a totally different elevation to you, but it's still fairly accurate. Like I said, this is just so you can get started with them and have some fun and see that. I've just heard a lot of people make out that they're really difficult to use and you got to do all this crazy maths, but you can really wing it and still be fairly useful with them. So 1970, so it's going to be a little bit less than 2000. You can see the elevation in mils if you're shooting at 2000 is 1214. Okay, so we're going to want it to be our number to be a little higher than that, because higher means less distance, and we are shooting just under that. So I'm going to take a guesstimate and say 1220, since we're a little bit shorter than 2000 meters. You get what I mean? You see on the left hand side there's 1900 meters and 2000 meters, and the elevation setting for those is the next one to the right. So you're going to pick a number between those two numbers. I hope that makes sense. First we'll go to 11 degrees up the top there. You can see the degrees. We're at 11 degrees. 1220. So we use the down arrow and you can see the mils changing there, 1220. And then instead of using your mouse to click out of this, you can just press X so you don't accidentally move the mortar, and that should be sweet. Double check our range card. 1220. Yep, sweet. Okay, so we'll grab these, start firing away. Alrighty, 3 rounds out, going to Game Master, which is acting as our forward observer. And we should have rounds landing on target in this unfinished village here very shortly. Boom shakalaka. Okay, so they were all very close to the TRP, within the dispersion kind of allowance, really, or very close to it. If you had a forward observer, someone sitting somewhere, I don't know, and even a helicopter, a drone if you're playing modded, maybe he's sitting out, hiding behind these rocks with his binos, he can see where they're landing, he's going to be like, oh, you're about, I don't know, 20 meters right of the TRP, and then you can just adjust your degrees slightly to meet the target. Okay, so I just want to quickly pull out that range card again to make sure I explain that well. So you can see on the left hand side there's the different ranges to your target. We were at 1970 meters, so where it says 1900 and 2000, you want to pick a number between those two numbers in the next column over, so 1238 and 1214. If you were to go smack bang between those two numbers, you would get 1950 meters. We knew we were a bit over that, so I went a little bit closer to the 1214 and we set the mortar at 1220. I hope that makes sense. So that's just a super easy kind of way to do mortars and be fairly accurate without any kind of calculations involved. Personally, I'm a nerd and I'm right into realism and milsim, so I would like to do it more precisely than that. But if you're in a hurry and you just want to learn how to do it quickly or whatever, you're not that nerdy or whatever, you just want to fire some rounds off and be useful with the mortar, then that's the way you can do it. If you are the precise kind of person and you're right into realism, then check out the link to my Discord in the description below. Our unit, SHS 2nd Air Assault Brigade, is open to anyone. We do have recruitment days and training. Once you've been through your recruitment training, then you will get access to our exclusive unit member channels, and also we have some unit patches and name badges coming up, in-game badges that you will also receive once you've done that training. This is our custom training facility. My map is Karakitang Island. If you just put Kara in the workshop, you'll find it. As I said, it's not complete yet. I just released it early so we'd have that training facility for the unit, but it's definitely still playable. We've got some pretty cool areas. Shout out to JustMichael as well. These map assets are from his Vietnam map, and this certainly wouldn't have been possible without him. Here we got the main village. It's pretty cool. It's getting there. It's coming along. Got a bit of a resort here. Yeah, anyway, that's the dummies guide to mortars. I hope that helped. If you have any questions or I didn't explain it well, then just hit me up in the comments. I kind of rushed this one, but I just wanted to get it out because I knew there'd be heaps of people struggling or not knowing or thinking you need to be a mathematician to do this. You don't at all. It's super easy. Alrighty, sweet. Peace. I'll see you guys again soon.